All right, guys. All right, guys. All right, guys. So what we're looking at today is adding and subtracting matrices, and then we'll talk about scalars and adding and subtracting with scalars. So the first thing we're going to look at is addition and subtraction of matrices. Now, you don't have to write this all down because once you really start looking at it, it's a lot simpler than it might seem. To add or to subtract two matrices with the same dimensions, add or subtract their corresponding elements. Well, with the one example they gave us, well, A is in the top left, and we're adding it to, well, its corresponding element would be E, so we can say A plus E. That's it. Or if we're doing subtraction, subtraction of corresponding elements. A is in the top left, E is in the top left, so we're going to do A minus E. Now, the big thing with this is that the sum or difference of two matrices with different dimensions is undefined. The matrices' dimensions have to be the exact same. The matrices' dimensions have to be the exact same for us to be able to add or subtract them. Let's go on and look at an example of this here. So these two matrices here. The first one, what are the dimensions of it? What are the dimensions of this matrix? It's a 2 by 2, 2 rows and 2 columns. How about the other one? Are the dimensions the exact same? So we can add them. So our first element in the first matrix is a 2. Our operation between the two is plus. What's its corresponding element? Negative, or just 1. I was looking at the wrong spot. It is 1. So we have that. Our next element in the first one is negative 1. Plus 2. Plus 4. Or 0 plus negative 2. Then we can simplify. 2 plus 1 is 3. Negative 1 plus 2 is 1. 3 plus 4 is? And 0 plus negative 2. And that's it. That's all we have to do for this here. Any questions on this here? Let's look at the next one. So what are the dimensions of this first matrix? 3 by 2, and the other one is a 3 by 2. So the dimensions are the exact same, so that means we can subtract them. So our first element is a 2. Our operation is subtraction. So negative 1 or negative and negative does make a positive, so we can say plus 1. Our next element is negative 3 minus 2. Now we can look at the next row, and our first number is 5 minus what? 7. And then we'd have 4 minus negative 2 minus. So the negative and negative would make a plus. And then we'd have 8. So 2 plus 1 is 3. Negative 3 minus 2 is? 5 minus 7 is? 4 minus 8 is? Negative 2 plus 5 is? And 8 minus 6 is? And that's it. That's all we have to do with this here. Any questions on this here? All right, let's look at the next one. So, what do we do first? Why not? They're not the same. Here we have a 2 by and this is A2 by, so it doesn't work. Now, if we were to try to do this.
Hold on, I got a question.
Yes.
Do you like banana?
So, let's look at this here. So if we tried to do this addition, well, we would say negative 8 plus 6. Then it'd be 1 plus negative 1. And 3 plus, well, we don't have anything to add to it. We can't do it. Now, we can't add 0 because 0 is an element, because we've had spots where 0 does show up. So we can't add a 0 in there, and because there's nothing to add to it, this here is not possible. Because the only way that we can add or subtract two matrices is if the dimensions for them are the exact same. All right, let's look at the next one here. So this here, we have a 2 by 2 and a 2 by 2. So we can add these here. So we'd have negative 1 plus 6. It is the compressor for the, I think, either AC or sprinkler system. Then the next one we have is 7 plus negative 4, 5 plus negative 8, and 3 plus 2. Then we can go on and add them together. So negative 1 plus 6, focus, is 5. 7 plus negative 4 is 3. 5 plus negative 8 is, and 3 plus 2 is 5. And that there is the answer. Any questions on this here? All right, let's look at the next one. Can we add these two together? Because we have a 2 by 1 and a 2 by 1, so the dimensions are the exact same. So we'd have 2 minus negative 3 and 5 minus 0. Well, the negative and negative would make a, so 2 plus 3 is, and 5 minus 0 is, yep. In a little bit, let's look at this one here. Is this possible? So what is the dimensions of the first one? 2 by 1, and this one here is a, so this here is not possible because for us to be able to add or subtract, the dimensions have to be the exact same. So this one here doesn't work. So it's not possible. Now we could multiply. Multiplication would work for these, but we'll get into multiplication probably at a later date. We won't cover it in this chapter. This year we're mainly going to do addition, subtraction, and scalar multiplication, and then scalar multiplication with addition and subtraction. We won't get into actual multiplication. Do we need to see another example of addition or subtraction? Okay. So the next thing would be scalar multiplication, but we are stopping